All right, thank you very much. Hello, everybody. It's your good friend Pozzible here, and I'm back in action with another look at another movie that would have come out recently. But this movie is going to be part of a very special segment, which I am referring to as my Marvel DC Secret Wars. You know, why is this a secret war for this one? Or for this in general? It's because people are looking too much at something else to notice this. Marvel and DC, everyone knows them for making comics. So when they come out with the movies, that's one thing. When they come out with a TV show, that's something else. But when it goes direct to video and doesn't really have an opportunity to be shown in wide release theaters like they should be, let me tell you something, these movies are excellent and they do deserve a huge audience. The one drawback to these movies, though, for other people, I would say, is that they don't go into the explanation of who they are, where they came from. These movies just take the story as it's written with characters that you already know and love. So they expect nothing new here to show up. Well, speaking of nothing new showing up, that's exactly what happens in Batman Superman Apocalypse. Before the whole Batman versus Superman thing came out, Batman and Superman were known as the world's finest. And what's funny is that this whole movie is based off of a comic strip called Batman, World's Finest, Supergirl. And basically, it's how Kara Jor-El came to Earth. Not exactly welcomed with open arms. When it comes to Apocalypse, they changed the title, but the story is still the same. Batman and Superman are off doing their things. Batman's fighting one crime. Superman's doing, his thing. When all of a sudden in Gotham Bay, a meteorite shower comes in, and there's a big rock that just slams into the water and causes a huge tidal wave. Luckily, nobody was killed, but this is a comic book movie after all, and she is a good guy. Or I should say, a good girl. Anyway, she comes out, and, she doesn't know anything about English. She knows Klingon. And it takes Batman a little bit to bring her down because she's kind of confused, kind of scared, and it's kind of funny the way he knocked her out. If you read the comic books, you know how it goes from here. It's basically Supergirl, or I should say Kara Jor-El, because think of this as Supergirl Begins, all right? She just came to Earth, and she's trying to figure out her way about how Earth works and how it all goes. Of course, the funny thing is when she first sees a hot dog, you can imagine what her reaction is to that. So that's all funny. And of course, she knows that while Superman embraces her with open arms, Batman greets her with suspicion. One of the things that's funny is that if you were to ever see the show, and I forgot how this worked in the comic book, but Batman knows how to read Kryptonian. Superman taught him, and I think at Batman's insistence. But anyway, there's a message written in Kryptonian. It says, honor this girl, protect this girl. She will be a treasure onto your planet. And there's something about in Kryptonian, I guess, that you can't separate the words treasure and terror. Or something. I don't know. Maybe it was just Batman's cynicism. I'm not sure. But it was funny the way he kept saying, are you sure it's his treasure and not terror? He's suspicious about her. She is, of course, considered very powerful. Her powers are just, coming in that fast. She already has X-ray vision. But Batman wears a lead-lined cowl for people like that. So she never really figures out that Batman is Bruce Wayne. At least I'm not sure about that. So the whole part starts off with her coming down to Gotham, then being moved to the Fortress of Solitude, where she's kind of confined, but she can't get a handle on these powers. If there's any one thing I do regret, is that in the comic book, there's a moment where she told Clark that, she understands that he's going to be looking after her and treating her like a child, but when they left Krypton, he was a baby. Okay, and she was sent to Earth also to look after him and to take care of him. Remember, when Krypton was being destroyed, if everything was supposed to work out the way it was supposed to, she and Clark were going to come down to Earth, and she would have to look after Clark. All right, that was the plan and all that. Obviously, things didn't work out that way. One of my complaints about this show, though, is the question of why everything has got to be handled with violence. She starts off in the Fortress of Solitude. She goes to Metropolis to hang out with Clark for a while. Next thing you know, Wonder Woman wants to take her to to paradise to get some training and to learn what it means to be human and everything. Superman was against it, but before they even ask him, they decide to attack him. They decide to punch him. And even this one as Amazon who Superman had to get in the way of threatened him, saying, "Don't ever get in front of my way again." It's like, girl, it's Superman you're talking to, okay? You're not buying it. There is a good twist in this show. And I'm not going to say too much about the twist. I'll just have to say it has to do with a prediction. That's all I'm going to say about it. But for me, what was interesting about the prediction, because I forgot about this from the comic, was the way they showed it in this cartoon was different than what you would expect. You know, you saw one thing, you were thinking one thing, but turned out to be something completely unexpected. The way they handled it was really good. My only complaint about the Superman Batman apocalypse was at the end. Two problems. Number one, they resolved their issues just by fighting, literally. And you wouldn't think that would actually work, but it really did. You know, it's what you can expect. Yes, Darkseid does play a huge role in this. It follows the comic book pretty fairly. You know, it wasn't perfect, but it wasn't that bad. But the other problem is that the ending fight scene was way too long. I mean, I get it. You're fighting a humongous monster. You know, you're not going to beat him in one or two punch, but it didn't have to go as long as it did. That's my only complaint about this. It just kept going and going and going. And, you know, the blows were going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And it just, it went on for too long. That's my only complaint about that. It went on for too long. But you know what? The Superman, Batman Apocalypse, again, I will say, these shows are better than the live action movies, bar none. Okay? The action, the commitment to the character is what makes these shows so great. Superman is Superman. Bruce Wayne and Batman are Batman. You know, you get that sense that they're not like actors portraying them, and they're not trying to dumb them down for audience members who may not understand or may not, you know, might think, okay, that's too powerful or something like that. We get it. We're comic book fans. We know that these are that good, and we enjoy them. You know, so I love these sort of things. I'm going to be reviewing a whole bunch of these as Phoenix Comic Con approaches, and I'll be keeping you informed as to how they look. All right, guys, that's it for me for today. So if you can't tell by now, yes, Batman and Superman Apocalypse is a see it. Definitely watch it. I think you'll enjoy it. All right, guys, that's it for me for today. We'll see you at the theaters.